Hello, welcome to the podcast this week with me, Red, and this week I helped make a grown man cry.
Oh. Well, welcome to the pod, ladies and gents. I'm John, and last night I woke up to my partner telling me that I had scratched them in their face, but when I woke up this morning, nothing was mentioned, so I don't know if it was a dream or if it actually happened.
You know, I don't remember my dreams nowadays.
None?
Honestly, I'd say 95% of the time, I will remember that I have dreamt, but I will never remember what the fuck happened in it. And I don't know why. It's so strange. I used to always remember my dreams. And in the past couple of years, every single time I dream, I'll wake up and I'll remember that I've dreamed. I was like, I definitely dreamed something. But I cannot think of any of the details of what happened in it at all.
I really hate that.
It's so it irritates me every single time. Mm-hmm. It just happens like every night.
It's like trying to remember something that's on the tip of your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Just so frustrating.
Once in a blue moon, I'll remember it, and I'll be like, okay, I actually remembered that dream. That's nice. But fuck.
Do you know, I try and make a point to remember my dreams the minute I wake up. Like, the minute I wake up, I'll try and, like, replay the dream in my head as I'm awake. And I find that helps me remember what I was dreaming about better. But see, sometimes, maybe the reason you don't remember your dream is because it was just gibberish.
There are some times, though, where as soon as I wake up, I'll be dreaming something really interesting, and as soon as I wake up,
you know you're going to be...
as soon as I'm awake, I have that split second thought of, oh, I'm awake, oh, I was just dreaming, oh, that was a really interesting dream, and then I'm like, wait, what was I dreaming about? And it's just gone instantly, and I'm just like, God damn it. It's like,
your brain really betrays you that way.
It's so fucked.
Really, even if it's like a really nice dream that you think would be really worthwhile remembering, your brain's like...
It's just gone in a second, and I'm just like, God damn it.
It's so frustrating to wake up like that when you're like, what was I dreaming about? Because it does affect, I think it affects your day. I mean, you definitely get out of bed and out of your room and stuff like that, and you're like, what was I dreaming about? It's not the day with dreams, but I would like to take you and the listeners on a journey.
Oh.
Okay. It's a bit of a Twitter journey.
Okay. This will not go well.
So, basically whatever the tweet was, it was like, I can't believe this happened. Right, you know, it's one of the really non-specific, vague kind of... So, I started reading it and I kind of was like, right, I'm not going to hold it too much. You don't with the kind of posts, but... This post took me on a journey, and it took me back. Right. After killing the two males she was paired with, Walnut the crane fell in love with her zookeeper. Okay. Walnut was born in a species recovery breeding program in the 1980s. The program had crane chicks hand-raised by human volunteers, and at that time they did not fully understand the measures necessary to make sure that the chicks do not imprint on humans and retain their identity as cranes. As a result, her keepers believe Walnut does not recognise other cranes as members of her own species. It has not been proven that Walnut killed her previous suitors, however, there is a persistent rumour in the white-naped crane conservation community that she did.
There's a serial killer crane, and they've got a suspect, and they're not sure if it's her or not.
Black Widow crane.
That's crazy.
Just wait. We're only on slide 2 of 4.
Oh, God.
Because this species is highly endangered and the gene pool of the captive population is small, it's pretty important for the survival of her species that Walnut A, mate, and B, not kill a bunch of other cranes. The actual name of the keeper is Chris Crow.
Chris Crow?
They both arrived at the Smithsonian Conservation Biology Institute in 2004. Walnut immediately began paying special attention to Chris and ignoring the eligible male crane in the nearby enclosure. Walnut initiated their courtship, performing the opening moves of a mating dance. Chris realised that if he had reciprocated the mating dance, it might be possible to artificially inseminate Walnut with her participation and consent. This process normally involves restraining the bird, and it worked. Chris and Walnut have had 5 children who are raised by other crane couples at the facility, sometimes the biological dad and his mate, both because it's unclear whether Walnut would accept the chicks as her own and because Chris is not equipped to be a crane dad.
That's such an insane story.
Where are you just now? Where are you? Because I was lost.
So I know all about the whole issue with I think it's I don't know if it's exclusively, but I know birds are a lot of different birds. It's an issue with a lot of birds where they imprint on humans like that. If they're like getting saved, or whatever, they can imprint on humans, and that is an issue where they then can't be released into the wild because of it. But that's crazy.
It continues.
Oh my god.
However, the Institute provides her with artificial eggs to sit on, and Chris takes his turn looking after them. This would not work with real eggs because he can't sit on them properly, but Walnut seems to feel that he is on the job if he just stands over them.
What the fuck?
And in conclusion, Chris accepts that he's pretty much married to this bird. White-naped cranes live to be about 60 and they mate for life. So he knows he can't retire while Walnut is alive. At the time of the article, Walnut was 36 and Chris 42.
What the fuck? That is insane.
I don't even know what... I'm sitting thinking to myself, like, what if Walnut becomes a widow? You know? The poor bird's going to die of heartbreak. But it was wild.
That's fucking... Goddamn. That is wild.
Serial killer bird going from, I don't know, evil targeted to, you know, happy mother of 5, and within a interspecies relation, a happy interspecies relationship.
I've never heard of a situation of a bird getting artificially inseminated. I've only ever heard that being done on like farms with like horses and stuff like that.
Yeah, livestock kind of animals. Yeah,
I've never known that to be a thing that they would do with birds, but I guess when it's a fucking endangered species, it's a
you're kind of limited in your options. Yeah. So that just, you know, made me zone out for like an hour. When I read that, I had to put my phone down and just stare at the wall and just ponder life.
Can you imagine that guy trying to like go out on a date and they're pure like asking him about his work, and he's just sitting there like, one day I dropped the bombshell that I'm married to a crane and we've got like 5 lanes. Jesus.
All the poor women he'd go on dates with, like, because they would get signals and stuff, and they'd be like, he's hiding something. He's definitely married, and they would never know. They would never know that it's not a woman, but a bird, another bird.
Jesus, that's crazy. Holy shit. I guess on top of I've gone from one crazy story to another. Just before we started recording the podcast, I seen something on Reddit that was not safe for life.
Oh.
And it's pretty bad. And honestly, the video itself is horrifying. But what boggles my mind more are just the comments on the post. It boggles my mind, the things people are saying, right? So, the video basically is a guy is on a highway or some kind of motorway. It looks like it's in the US. Sounds like the guy's American, and he's in his car and he's recording, and he's like stopped, or he's like starting to stop, and as he's recording, and basically looks over and there is I think it's a woman is laid down on the other side of the road, on the other side of the highway, just lying down in the middle of the road and no movement. and he's like, oh shit, he's freaking out. He's like, I've just called 911. He's like, oh, I don't think she's dead. He's like just basically screaming about it, and like, I don't think she's dead. It looks like she's breathing, and he's like screaming out the window at her. They're like, are you alright? Did somebody hit you? And she's not responding, and he's just like, oh my god, and he's just freaking out basically. And then as he's freaking out and talking about how he's the ambulance is coming and trying to get her attention to see if she's like conscious, another car coming down the other way on the bit that she's laying on is like coming, and he's like shouts at the car, be like, oh slow down, there's somebody there, and they just run her off, like they just plow through her, and I'm just like,
what?
And I was so unexpected. That was like, I was like, I was expecting the video to be like the ambulance show up and she's dead or something, and I'm like, oh, that's fucked. But this person literally just plows through her, and I'm just like, what the fuck? How did they not see her? Like, she's lying. It's nighttime, but she's lying like right under a lamppost, basically. There's lighting the whole road there. You can easily see her there. Like, it's not missable. And it's like, so this hit her clearly like must be texting or some shit, or just isn't he paying attention to the road?
Yeah, he's definitely not paying attention.
If they were watching the road, they would have seen her. So it's just like fucking hell.
Yeah.
And,
or they just didn't expect it to be an actual person and thought it was maybe like bags of trash,
I guess, but like,
you know,
I don't know why they wouldn't even. I mean, it's
to plow through it, to not even like
to not even slow down, to be like, what the fuck is that on the road? It's just crazy. So they just hit her, and the guy freaks the fuck out, obviously, and then another car for his side stops, and is like, what the fuck just happened? And he's like talking about it, and it's just them all freaking out and basically being like, you fucking hit her, and he's like, oh, I didn't see her, and then the video just kind of ends, and I guess an ambulance showed up, but she's probably fucking dead, to be honest. I would imagine if she did live, then that's amazing. And that was bad enough. I was like, fucking hell, that's what an insane thing to see.
Yeah, no one wants that. That's a kind of day ruiner.
Aye. And then I went to the comments because I was just any post on Reddit usually I'll go to the comments just to read a few. And somehow the insane people on Reddit, the only comments that were all the top comments were literally only being like, oh my god, I can't believe this guy didn't like put his hat, like turn his car to like go and stop in front of her and put his hazard lights on, and why did he not go out and help her? It's like, so it's this guy's fault. No, the cunt that fucking ran her over. Nobody, not one person mentioned why the fuck she's there, why that guy ran her over without even like stopping or noticing that she was on the road. No. All the comments are like, this is this guy's fault because he didn't stop in front of her and put his hazard lights on us. It's got, I can get that you're probably supposed to do that, but like, how is that the thing you're going to?
Well, how you've seen the video, how easy would it be for the guy to actually like cross the road and do that?
No, there's not. It's like a wide road. He could drive over there, but it's like it happens very fast. Like it's like maybe a minute for him stopping, seeing her there, and then like try to talk to her, and then the guy hits her.
See, I would say that,
and it's like. Sorry, go ahead.
Like the people on Reddit probably don't actually drive, because if you're right, there's one thing if there's someone that's on the road, and like their potential. If you move your car onto like oncoming traffic, say he did move his car, right, and say the person that ploughed through her was so oblivious that he then ploughed his car through his car, and then there's two fatalities.
And it's like, you know. And on top of that, like people, there were a few sane people replying to these comments, saying things like, they're basically saying like, okay, obviously, like if you see an accident, you can put your hazard lights on, to let other people know that there's an accident and that. But like at the end of the day, this is in the middle of the fucking night, and it's in the middle of a highway, and this, like, considering, you know, this is fucking the US. Not saying anything, but like, this is it. There have been probably many stories about people that lie on the road pretending that they are injured so that people will stop, get out their car to check on them, and then they'll just get jumped because they've got people like waiting, hiding. Like, that is things that happens, and that's,
it does.
So like, if it's the fucking middle of the night, dark as fuck, right? There's streetlights and stuff, but like it's middle of the night. If I fucking seen somebody lying on the road, my first thought would not be to immediately get out of my motor.
Yeah.
Like I would be like, I would be wary. Yeah.
And as you say, like you said earlier on that she was underneath a lamppost at night.
There is literally no excuse that the other guy couldn't have seen her. Like, there's no excuse that he shouldn't have been able to see her and just like plowed through her. There's just no excuse.
Why was she there though?
I'm assuming I mean, could be drugs, could be she's wasted, could be somebody else hit her, and she's lying there unconscious because some other cunt ran her over, because maybe she tried to cross the road or something, and it was like a hit and run. Fucking God knows how many things could have happened to make her just be lying there.
And these days, when a lot of things like that do happen, like people get their phone out and film it, I think there is times where the observer should have stepped in, they should have done that. But I don't think this is an occasion in which, like, he's obviously at the other side of the road, keeping himself safe. One, trying to make sure that people are aware of the present situation. I don't think that it's easy to turn around after the fact and say, well, he should have done that and he should have done that. So, well, he didn't.
In the situation, like, he's clearly very panicking and freaking out during the whole thing. It's like within him, it's like he sees the situation before he starts recording is clearly like he sees the body, he starts slowing down, he calls an ambulance to tell them where he is and that there's a body lying in the road. And then as soon as he gets off the phone, he starts recording because he probably is like, I'm going to record this just in case this is a situation that's going to happen, like where I'm going to get jumped if I try and fucking help this cunt or something, because you never know.
Exactly, yeah.
But he starts like filming it, the situation, and like slows down and stops next to them. And like within a minute of him stopping next to them and then shouting on them to see if they're conscious to try and get a response for them, like within a minute, the other car shows up and runs the door. Like, you can't sit there and act as if, like, I mean, that's such a short amount of time that's passed for that to then happen. Like, to sit there and try and judge this guy and be like, oh, that's this guy's fault, he should have done this and that. It's like, hindsight is 20/20 and shit. Exactly. Obviously, like, but like, the guy didn't fucking know what was going on. He was, if you find a fucking body lying on the road like that, you're not going to immediately be like, sit there and think logically and be like, okay, this is the other things I need to do. And like, well, exactly, you're going to be panicking and freaking out. And
he's obviously in the moment feeling so stressed, and that stress and adrenaline, especially when your body reacts to certain stuff, that can affect and cloud your judgment. So it's easy to turn around when you're in a very calm space and you've not got anything aggressive on your mind around like that. So it's easy for you to turn around and say, oh, well, that should have happened and that should have happened. But you're completely detached from the situation. It's very different, I think, if you're in a situation like that.
Because
I've heard people criticise like police officers a lot, and they should get criticised for a lot that they do, but they're like that. Oh, they shouldn't have done this in that situation. They shouldn't have done that. It's like, well, what would you have done?
No,
like you're sitting there acting as if you've got all their skills and all their abilities and that, when maybe you really don't. Like, you've maybe not went through the training that they've got, and you're still acting like you can do a better job.
And I mean, honestly, even looking at what happened, it's probably a good idea the guy did. They try and like stop in front of her to like block traffic, because the guy would have probably hit him. Like, if you are not paying attention enough to the road to not notice a fucking person lying in the middle of the road, and to the point where you don't even slow down at all, you don't notice that, you're probably not paying attention enough to notice a car there.
Yeah, especially at night.
That you're just going to fucking hit. So, like, the guy probably, like, if he tried to, like, stop in front of her to, like to help stop traffic, he probably would have got smashed into. So, like, in all honesty, he made the right decision.
For himself at the time, I would agree. In the UK, like, we've got, it's really weird talking about that, like, when, say if you break down, we've obviously got like a hard shoulder. I don't know what Americans would call it or what other kind of countries would call it, but our hard shoulder essentially is like, if you break down, you pull in there and you can wait till your assistants get your car fixed or car picked up, whatever you need. But by the law, you cannot wait in your car. You cannot. And it's not because anything arbitrary like that. It's because if a lorry has to stop, a lorry is just going to stop and not even bother about whether your car's there or not.
Aye.
So, like, I totally agree with him not going on to, like, the other side of the traffic because, well, that guy could, see the guy hit him, he could turn around and go like that. Well, he was obstructing traffic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it doesn't, yeah. That is crazy. I wouldn't want to see that.
It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
An insane situation.
Have you ever been involved in any insane situations?
Oh. Jesus, I need to just sneeze for like 10 seconds. Jesus Christ.
Sasha.
And have I been involved in any insane? Nothing like that, no.
Mm.
Fucking. Not even close. Jesus.
I think. No, I can't think of like any kind of situations that I've been a part of where I've been like, wow, like this is literally insane. Well, other than like the time I got lifted for having the same name as somebody else, that was insane. That was insane.
Aye, that's pretty insane.
That was so insane.
I just love the incompetence of the police that are like, hey, there's a report of this guy doing this thing in this other city, like only a couple of years ago. Oh, and this guy's got the same name as him, and he's in this different city. It must be him. What?
It must be him. Like people that give like the police a bad name, like the love stories like that, like mine, that just highlight that if any one of them had just done their job, I wouldn't have been there at all.
Aye.
You know, well, for those that don't, or for those that don't know, or for those that have never heard the story, I'll give a quick recap. I was out in Edinburgh, and I was having a lovely time, and maybe I was a wee bit too worse for wear. Don't drink, kids; it's not worth it. And the police picked me up, and I was maybe a wee bit cheeky because, as I say, I was drinking, and you know, I'm probably a wee bit cheeky.
I mean, to be fair, if they're like basically arresting you for nothing in your eyes because you've not done it, so like you're going to be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Like when they're hitting me with the patter, like, oh, we've got a warrant out for your arrest, I'm sitting there thinking, no, you don't. No, you actually don't. And so they took me in on the Friday night to the cells in Border and Lothian, I think they were at the time, and had a lovely stay. 4 nights, which I thought was a bit. No, sorry, it was Friday, Saturday, and the Sunday that I'd stayed, which I thought was a bit long because usually, for what I've heard, I'm usually a good boy. When people get a weekender or when they get the sales for the night, you know, they're let out the next day once they're sober, and it's a slap in the wrist, you know, fucking on your way, rogue. They tell me on the Sunday that I've got court on Monday, and I'm like, when did our justice system become so streamlined and so, you know, this is amazing. I've never heard of this before. I'm in the cells and then I've court on Monday. Wow, can't believe this. What a beautiful system to be a part of. In any case, right, the police don't let me phone any day to let them know I'm alright. So everybody thinks, well, nobody knows what to think. Do you know what I mean? All they know that I'm in the cells and I've got court on Monday. The same as me. And so, like, Monday comes, I'm still in the same clothes, by the way. Not a chance to shower. Didn't give me that option.
Oof.
And I'm sitting in these holding cells, right? And I can easily look back on it now and I can laugh, right? But see, at the time, I was shitting myself because I had no idea what these people done. I had no idea what these people were in for, what they were capable of. And you shouldn't judge people, but if you're in the holding cell, a fucking courtroom, and you had no plan on being there, you have no idea. You have no idea what's coming. So, I think I was the last one to be taken. So, I'm in the stand at 5 o'clock. Like, so I've marched up to the stand, right, and I spoke to a lawyer before I had reached court, and I think the lawyer was kind of like, "Wait a minute, you're not the John Wright I usually represent."
Jesus Christ.
You know, like, wait a minute, I don't think you're the John Wright that we're looking for. And I'm like, that's what I've been trying to tell you, everybody, for the past 4 days, but nobody will ever believe that you're innocent. You know?
It's crazy. Actually crazy.
So, led up, the lawyer goes like that. So, this isn't the John Wright that we're looking for. The John Wright that we're looking for was given bail this morning at 10:30. And I'm just sitting there like, what is this? This is insane. Like,
actually crazy.
If there's a situation that will test your mental status and your mental health, it will be thrown into a position that, one, you shouldn't have been in the first place, and two, you have to go along with it, or you'll make things worse. Like, if at any point I had reacted violently or aggressively, or, basically, I'm not meant to be here and you're holding me against my will, I'm going tonto and somebody's about to pay for it. If I had acted like that at all, I could have ended up a lot worse.
It's a fucking it's a paradox with the police, where it's like, we're arresting you for something that you've no done, and you're like, you're not arresting me, like, you're right, you're getting resisting arrest, so you're getting arrested. You're getting arrested for resisting arrest of something you didn't do, and you're just there like, what?
Or if you like just move your hands a certain way, or you try and resist arrest, they can then put on top of that assault a police officer.
It's fucking crazy, dude.
It's so shit. It's so shit. Like, I would love, like, as I say, it's easy to laugh at it now. At the time, I certainly was not laughing. What was it? 72 hours, roughly, in a cell. I was sitting counting fucking the blue spots. I would love to meet the police officers that night that arrested me and been like, so, remember me? Remember how you didn't do your job right? Baby.
Couldn't you remember how you couldn't fucking think for a second? Oh, maybe it's possible we've got the wrong person with this extremely common name.
Like,
maybe we should double check.
I know, exactly. Like, they were like, John, there's the whole of Scotland, there can only be one John. That has to be you. Do you think it was like, I don't know, like, maybe they were late in finishing, and they were like, right, we need to find this guy. And they were like, he'll do.
Aye.
He'll do. Who are you? What's your name? If the name even fits, fucking put my arse right in the back of the fucking wagon.
Yeah.
So that's probably the most insane situation I've ever been a part of. And as I say, there's nothing that will test your mental, your mental health than being in that situation. Like, because honestly, like, I was in Italy. I obviously had the experience of being in a cell, and then later in work, I've been experiencing the other side of it. And so, like, I would say I've got a good experience of what people are like in a jail cell and a police cell. And some of them are right. Some of them are right to act the way that they do. Like, some will just scream all night. And I'm like, I feel you. I've been there, and I would have probably screamed all night too. Because it's such a rotten experience. Such a rotten experience.
It's fucked, man. On a lighter note, though, something we can talk about that's pretty cool. Fucking Sora got added to Smash.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Actually insane.
I've seen a lot of theories and posts, and people were like, "Oh, the last one's going to be Sora. It's definitely going to be Sora." And I'm sitting hanging there going, "Nah, that'll never happen. That will never happen." How wrong I was.
Disney are like just so infamous for just being like fucking the just tightest company and so protective over their IPs.
Yep.
And so my thought, I was like, there's no way they're ever going to let him be in Smash. But fucking, I mean, this is the funny thing is, right? They're like, oh my god, they actually did let him in Smash. But they are absolutely not letting Mickey or Donald or Goofy show up in any circumstance. Not in his final Smash, not in the stage, nothing. Every other DLC character feel like a franchise, and there's like even in like their stage and stuff, there's like background characters and shit like that.
Yeah.
And fucking in this, they're like, nah. No, they cannot show up anywhere. The only thing that even looks remotely Disney at all is the wee keychain on the Keyblade. That's it. That's it. That's all they're allowed.
I mean, it must be a pretty like airtight clause, like because when I was watching the video and it was I can't remember the guy's name. I'm not even going to mispronounce it, but the person that made Kingdom Hearts, and he was talking about how it's in Smash and stuff like that now, and he was saying about the music. Right? Obviously, I'm thinking it's going to be.
There's obviously not going to be any Disney songs, of course.
There's obviously not going to be any Disney songs, right? But I was actually really happy with the music that they did put in.
That's the nice thing, is that even without the Disney music, Kingdom Hearts has got a great soundtrack.
Kingdom Hearts has got an amazing soundtrack.
Just with the original music, so there is still great stuff there.
Like, Dearly Beloved is amazing. Just amazing. And like the stage as well. They put in, I think it was Castle Oblivion, which is throughout the Kingdom Hearts series is a really kind of intrinsic part of the series. So yeah, you might not have like a Olympus Coliseum or Pirates of the Caribbean, but you've got like pertaining to the story of Kingdom Hearts. It's a good part of the story.
When they were saying there was going to be a new stage, I assumed it was either going to be. I was like in my head, I'm like, it's probably going to be that end castle place, or it's going to be like the town, like that you get to like at the start of the game. I was like, it's probably maybe going to be, or maybe the Destiny Isle. I was like, maybe one of them. That's what I was thinking that would be the stage. So I was like, there's no way it's going to be any fucking Disney place. There's no chance.
I would love to see the Destiny Islands as a stage. But you've only played the. I've only played
the first one, and it was the original, not even the remaster or whatever.
You have so much to catch up on.
Well, they're all coming to the Switch. No,
they're all coming to the Switch. I wish you could play Kingdom Hearts 3, if only to experience the absolute hell and dread that it is to play in Arendelle, like the Frozen world.
I think it said that 3 is coming as well, is it not? I think it's all of them.
Is it?
I think so. It's like the two. It's like the HD remix.
Kingdom Hearts
3 as well.
Kingdom Hearts 2.5 HD remix chain of fucking nouns and verbs.
The names of these games are fucking insane.
What are we meant to do with them? What are we meant to do with their names?
What's the fucking? There's one that's like a. What one is it?
It'll be the Game Boy Advance one. I think I know exactly.
I think the worst one is this one: Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue Cloud version.
Jesus fucking Christ!
Or fucking 0.2 Birth by Sleep.
It's so bad.
Kingdom Hearts 3 plus Remind DLC Cloud version. I think is going to be on the Switch as well.
Remind is good. I don't think it should have been DLC, but Remind is good. And I was playing that.
So, for my understanding of the port of all these like remasters and stuff, the HD 1.5 plus 2.5 remix is the first and second game.
Correct.
And then the 2.8 Final Chapter fucking thing is the DS game. I think.
Aye. It's kind of like a link between whatever's before 3 and 3.
Aye, and then
I'm not going to say yeah.
And then they've also, I think, in these remakes, they've got like a bunch of just cutscenes and shit for the other games that existed.
Yeah,
like the
that's
fucking
right.
mobile game and all that shit. They've got like just cutscenes for that that are like basically telling you what happened because they're like,
Yeah.
right, we're not porting these fucking things to consoles. We'll just have the important shit in there to show people that
Mhm.
they can know what the fuck's going on.
I was really happy when they did that.
So
Yeah.
it's got to be one of the most convoluted series that in existence, just based on trying to fucking keep up with the story.
Do you know it? I seen a Reddit post and it was basically like Kingdom Hearts comes down to you're either Sora or you're either Xehanort.
Mm.
Like every character is either in Sora's heart or is a form of Sora, or they're the same but Xehanort. And ever since then, I've found it really hard to enjoy the series because I'm like, there really is no original characters. It's all just Zora and Xehanort.
Yeah, some
And
kind of version of them.
I just have this really like, I don't know, like gut theory that Zora and Xehanort are going to end up being the same person through whatever they explore in the next few games. I could be wrong though. I hope I am.
It's a crazy fucking, but it's cool. It makes. Also, I don't know if you saw. I don't know how much of the video you watched for the presentation, but they said that back when Super Smash Bros. 4 came out, the one that was on 3DS and Wii U, that had the ballot, the vote ballot thing, where people would vote for the characters they wanted to be DLC. And that was when Bayonetta got added, because they were like, oh, the person that won it was Bayonetta, and that's the DLC character, and everybody was like, okay. And a lot of people were like, a little like, not sure if that was right. They were like, did she really get the most votes? All the characters? I mean, she's popular and stuff, but like, really? People were like, really? She was the most popular out of everybody?
Yeah, and, like Where's Waluigi?
Turns out, Sora was actually the number one voted person at the time, but they were like, right, yeah. Even though Sora's the most voted for, there's no way maybe they attempted to talk to like Square Enix and Disney, and they were just like, that's not happening. And they were like, right, he's the most voted for character, but it's kinda not going to happen because it's going to be a lot of legal shit to go through, and it would just take too long. So they're like, right, we'll just go to the next person in the list, and it was Bayonetta.
Yeah.
And it makes, and they're like, we didn't tell people at the time, and it makes sense. People are like upset about it, but it's like, it makes sense why they wouldn't say, oh, Sora won, but we're not adding him.
Exactly.
Like, people would have lost their shit.
Yeah. They can't promise something and then not deliver it. They can't be like, whoever wins this,
And even if at the time they said, look, Sora won the poll, but due to legal, due to copyright and stuff, with like, Disney, we can't just add them without permission, so it's not going to happen. People maybe would have been like, oh, fair enough, but then they would have fucking went after like Square Enix and Disney, and like, they would have had to deal with all these people constantly talking about it and being like, fucking, let them add Sora. So it's like, it makes sense that they just were like, let's just no say it, and let's just say that Bayonetta won, because fuck that.
I think there's a lot of people out there that maybe don't understand like how lengthy and how complex these disputes can be, because for all that it's easy to be like, for Square Enix and Disney, just say yeah. Like it's probably like you're probably talking about like 60 people and like one department that makes the decision to pass it up to the person who makes it. Do you know what I mean? It's like just all these loopholes. And
it's not like Sakurai. It's not like Sakurai just goes to the CEO of Disney, goes, here, can we add Sora? And he's like, aye, all right. Like that's not how it goes.
No,
that's not how it happens.
In fact, talking about like kind of like intellectual property disputes. Did you hear about how so there's this, I don't know what you call it, there'll be somebody that knows a lot more about it than me, but it's a form of like inheritance of intellectual property. So like see Stanley's family and like people that were really influential in the comic book industry, like Jack Kirby. He's like, his family, like all their intellectual properties for like the heroes they make. So basically, they own the rights to specific heroes. Iron Man, Spider-Man, Hulk, Thor, blah, 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 blah. And I think Marvel and Disney are trying to get that to be changed so that they can't hold on to the rights of those characters, so that it's something strange. Like, I think it's something like after 60 years, your intellectual property becomes global domain.
Aye.
I may be wrong. I may be wrong. I may be really wrong in that, but I think it's something to do with that. That at one point, your intellectual property becomes everybody else's property, whether you like it or not. But there's things you can do to keep a hold of it. Blah blah. I don't know. But apparently, because obviously these people that still retain the rights to the characters from like Stan Lee's estate and Jack Kirby's estate, they're making quite a lot of money. Clearly, they're making quite a lot of money, obviously because of the success of like the Marvel movies and that stuff. But Marvel want all that kind of money to themselves. I think it's Marvel. I could be throwing them under the bus, making up malicious rumours, but I'm pretty sure it was them. And they basically want to take steps to remove those family members and keeping the rights of that intellectual property on the basis of the argument that that it's not theirs. It's not their intellectual property, it's Marvel's. Because while Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, while they were working at Marvel, they did all that work within the Marvel. So they're trying to argue that it should be included in Marvel, if that makes sense. Basically, because there are so many different characters and the characters' rights and stuff like that, I down to, like, basically you have to keep asking the same people. Can I use Spider-Man in that movie? Can I use Spider-Man in this movie?
Aye.
So, like, say you wanted a Hulk movie. It's not just as simple as Marvel saying, yeah, we can do a Hulk movie, no problem. Yep, we've got studio, we've got writers, we've got artists, we can do it, we can just do it. They need to go and get permission from that person, and then that person, and then that's, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's crazy.
Copyright laws are a fucking joke, and I find it really hilarious that Disney, of all people, Disney are trying to take the copyrights, from the family of the person that created the characters, when they are literally the cause of that being in effect in the first place.
Exactly.
They are literally the people who made copyright laws be like this, and now that it's working against them, all of a sudden they want to change it.
Yep.
It's fucking unbelievable, dude.
You couldn't write that.
Disney.
You couldn't write that.
I know
they really want a global monopoly on our media.
It's so fucking...
They want to own every story on this earth. Every story. It wasn't bad enough that they ripped off the entire catalogue of like the Brothers Grimm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or any other kind of like folk tales from around Europe. That wasn't bad enough. They then had to like develop princesses, you know, for places that before, you know, their whole princess idea came from obviously like Germanic Europe, where there were a lot of princesses and they lived in castles, and that's where a lot of these stories came from. But then like Disney have been like, right, well, how can we manipulate young girls even more? I know, let's find other ethnicities and diverse cultures, make a princess movie about that.
Aye.
You know, movies like Moana.
Aye.
And Brave.
The hypocrisy of Disney is insane when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like, they literally built their empire on stealing or on taking existing stories from like years and years and years ago that are now obviously just public domain, like the fucking Brother Grimm stories and all that. Yep. Literally just taking public domain things and building their basically built their fucking empire on the back of that, and then turn around and like, we want to change copyright laws so people can't take our ideas or take the characters that take these stories that we stole, and build on them, and then now they're like, oh, but like now these characters that we want to take again, They're greedy, the greedy family, the person that created them wants to hold on to them, and so we need to change the laws again back to what it was before so that we can take them. And it's just like, these are fucking actual scum.
Disney really are like, they're just like the scummy. That's the thing. See, the more scummy the company, the more pleasant and nice they appear. Like, see if you turn around to somebody and like just a regular conversation out in the blue yonder, like Disney ain't shit. You know, Disney can eat shit. They're fucking this, that, and the next thing. There'll be somebody out there that goes like that. I'll have you know, I was raised exclusively on Disney movies, and I'm a beautiful princess, and I love this world, and I will not stand for you to make fun of the thing that gave that to me. Like, bitch, Disney gave nothing to you. Disney paid someone else to animate a story, got someone else to write the story, someone else to record it. They just threw it together and put it out for VHS release. They ain't fucking solving world hunger.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? They're kids' movies. Like, I think people have this tendency to put Disney on this pedestal. Like, oh, Disney's amazing, and it's magic and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, they're a global corporation that are working right now to possess every form of media so that they have no opposition. That's their whole ethos.
It's kind of insane how much shit Disney owns now. Like they were already like had such an empire in movies and animation and all that, and even before they owned any of these other like things, like even before they owned Star Wars and Marvel and Fox and God knows what else they own. Like even before any of that, they were insanely popular, fucking global, like fucking superpower of media. But then it's just gotten even more insane, like just owning all these other huge franchises, and they're just trying to get more and more and more.
It really does seem like that way. It just kind of seems like, you know, because at one point it's just going to be like Disney's a brand rather than a production company. Does that make sense? Because all the media and the rights that they own, you know, it's nothing. I don't know. I couldn't say with 100% certainty that there's been a completely 100% original Disney movie. Well, let me rephrase that. Successful Disney movie, because obviously, like, the Disney Channel produced their own stuff. In fact, maybe High School Musical. Is that Disney?
Yes, I think so. That's going to be like, in terms of movies, that's probably going to be like one of the most successful like original things.
Yeah, well, I'll give them that. Yeah, definitely High School Musical. Well, yeah, that is a Disney original, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, God, it could easily be that they fucking took the fucking songs and shit for some like musical that was written in like the 1960s or some shit. Like, I wouldn't put it past them. But as far as I'm aware, I think it is. As far as I'm aware, I think it is. I think it is all original.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if like there was some really, you know, like indie movie like producer people who were coming up with this idea for High School Musical, and Disney just heard about it and went, we don't like the idea of other people making other stuff, so what we're going to do is buy your company, liquidate its ideas, and then reuse the ideas for our success. Would not surprise me at all.
Do you know what's weird? To be kind of devil's advocate on the complete opposite end of this, have you heard about what the fuck's this thing called? Have you heard about this? There's a cartoon lion series. I think it's Japanese, and it's basically people have been for there's this whole conspiracy theory about how Disney stole the ideas from this series for The Lion King, even though The Lion King is based on fucking what do you call it, the Shakespeare play. I forget the name of this right now. But fuck, I'm trying to remember what the hell it's called. It's called like Kimba, aye. Kimba the White Lion. There's this whole fucking like conspiracy theory on like, oh, Disney stole Kimba the lion and all this shit, and like there's these videos that are like, look at all these things that are so similar between the Lion King and then Kimba, but then like turns out like all these arguments that people have been trying to put there are just complete bullshit, and it's like all these screenshots or like wee clips that they're trying to compare are like from like these Kimba movies or like series or whatever that came out after the Lion King, not before it.
Okay.
It's like this whole weird fucking. There's a guy. There's a YouTube channel I've been subscribed to for a while called Your Movie Sucks. Where he's basically just a movie critique, and he's very, very funny guy. But he did a 2-hour video basically talking about this whole thing, showing like all the arguments that were out there and everything, and basically just being like, look, I don't like that. He's basically, I hate Disney as much as you should because they're an evil fucking corporation, but this whole thing is bullshit. Like, they did not steal Kimba the Lion. This is not true. Like, I go through all these things that people are trying to like say, and I'm just like, it's just not the truth at all.
Do you know, it's funny you say that, because I was going to mention about like how the Lion King was ripped off.
I mean, that's like,
it already is, because I didn't know that.
It already is like a story that exists. It's not like it's an original story. It's literally, why can I not remember the name of the fucking play?
Is it Hamlet?
Hamlet. The Lion King is Hamlet. That is literally the story. It is Hamlet. Like, basically the story of the Hamlet play. That's literally what it is. So it's not even an original story. So you can call them out for that. It's like they're like trying to catch them on like, oh, they stole it for this, when it's already based on something.
Do you know, it's funny you say that. I'm just looking it up the now, right? But it's also like it's saying here the story of Sundiata Keita is behind the Lion King, known as the Lion of Mali. Sundiata was the founder of the Malian Empire, the largest kingdom in West Africa. He ruled his empire, which expanded from the Atlantic coast all the way to the Niger River from 1235 to 1255. But I don't know when Hamlet was written, but I don't think it was in 1200s.
I mean,
I don't know. Well, they do say that there is nothing new under the sun, don't they?
No.
They do, like... I guess there's a difference, like, from what Disney... Basically, Disney follow the story close enough that you know it, but will slightly deviate it in just a way that kind of keeps you surprised, rather than coming up with something original that you won't know. They would rather stick to something that you know, that they can just slightly tweak, and that they know that you'll love and that you'll buy.
No.
Because Disney do good. They do good movies.
I mean, they make good stuff. They do make good quality stuff all the time, but they are an evil corporation at the end of the day. They are an absolutely greedy corporation that just fucking just hoards money.
I mean, they know what's going to make you have a great movie experience or enjoy a good movie. Like, they know all the beats to press and all the kind of psychological buttons to press. Like, they know.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of found, well, as I'm older now, that, excuse me, Disney aren't interested in you, personally, as a consumer. They're interested in kids as a consumer.
Yep.
So that when the kid grows up, they say, I had all this Disney stuff and I had a great time. I'm going to buy all that stuff for my child. And then, essentially, they're looking for customers that are generational. They're looking for you to tell all your friends about Disney so that you keep consuming Disney and keep consuming. As you say, like, big corporation.
They know what they're doing. Once they've got their horns in your childhood, and they've ingrained themselves into your childhood, they've got you for life.
They do. They really do. I mean, I do kind of wish... It's weird, like, Disney, to me, seems like a company that really thrives off capitalism. But capitalism works when there's competition. And Disney do not want competition.
It's the last thing they want.
They have made it abundantly clear that if they see anything that's competitive towards them, they're just going to buy it.
I mean, that's what they did with Pixar. As soon as Pixar was like making amazing movies, they were like, right, we need to buy that. Make that part of us.
exactly. Because I think it would be very easy, I think, for a competition to come up and kind of sweep Disney off their feet.
Mm-hmm. I think the only
I think you know.
I think the only production company out there that they would never be able to get their hands on is DreamWorks, because that's
DreamWorks.
it was literally created by an ex-Disney guy.
Mm-hmm.
Who was like, "Fuck you, Disney! I'm
I
making my
love
own
that
company."
for DreamWorks. Mm-hmm.
Aye.
And I would say DreamWorks has been like fairly successful. Like
Mhm.
people love Shrek, like Shrek, in that way that you know Disney movies are a lot of part of people's lives. Like Shrek is a part of like everybody's life.
Aye.
Everybody that's alive today has Shrek in their life in some form or another.
They've got this is the weird thing about them. They've got a lot of really good, underrated. I feel like people meme DreamWorks movies so much, but kind of forget that the movies, like there's so many like memes about so many like DreamWorks movies, but then when you actually watch them, you're like, well, actually, I forget how good this actually is. Like, it actually is just a good like animated movie. Like Kung Fu Panda is like one of the most, when you say it out loud, like Kung Fu Panda, stupid title. It's a panda that does kung fu, voiced by Jack Black, and you just think like, okay, this is going to be like just a dumb movie, but it's actually really good. It's actually a really good animated movie.
I'm not a huge fan of Jack Black, but Kung Fu Panda really is quite fun. It's a fun movie to watch.
Aye.
The Cat in the Hat as well. I love that movie.
Wait, is that the one with fucking Mike Myers?
Yes.
I hate that movie.
People hate it. People
I hate, that movie. I hate that movie.
I love it. Honestly, I could watch that all the time.
It's a horrifying thing.
Why do you hate it?
I just don't think it. I don't think it's a very funny movie, and it's just filled with just horrifying things that would give me nightmares.
I guess that the kind of trying to match the visuals of Dr. Seuss in a real live action kind of thing just was always going to be like a hard task. But you know, did you like Jim Carrey in The Grinch?
I was going to say the only Dr. Seuss movie that's been made that I've actually liked, like a movie based on one of his stories, is The Grinch with Jim Carrey. That's the only one. Every other one I've seen has been horrendously bad, in my opinion. The Lorax, shit. The fucking Cat in the Hat, shit.
I mean, I really did like The Cat in the Hat. I thought it was quite funny, but I mean, maybe that says more about me.
Do you know my favourite? DreamWorks movie though? Is The Prince of Egypt.
Great movie.
It's so good. That is like, I love that movie so much. I don't know how accurate it is to the story of.
I mean,
Moses and all that. Like
we've
how
just sat and slated Disney for stealing stories, and then there's DreamWorks stealing a story for the Bible.
I mean, the Bible, the churches have fucking stolen enough money. They can.
They can get by. They've got money.
But like, I honestly don't know how like accurate it is. But I think it's just a fucking great movie. It got a great cast, music, the animation is fucking amazing. It's just, I love it.
It doesn't feel like a kids movie.
Aye.
It doesn't feel like a kind of kids animation of that story. It just feels like that story, you know. Can I tell you my favourite DreamWorks movie? Chicken Run.
Really?
Chicken Run. I love that movie.
I do like Chicken Run.
I just think it's hilarious. I mean, I'm not going to glamorise like Mel Gibson or anything like that, but
he is a piece of shit.
He's a bit of a piece of shit. Like he's a piece of shit, but you know, it's a good movie. I like the movie.
It is a good movie.
I'm looking up all these like DreamWorks movies, and I actually can't believe all these bangers that DreamWorks are hitting at me.
Aye, they've got so much good shit.
Madagascar
also great. Aye,
great movies. Transformers, I never knew they did that.
Wait, did they do the Transformers movies?
Apparently so. Do you know what we did miss?
Mm.
Small Soldiers. That's Dreamworks.
Wait, Small Soldiers? Is that the fucking movie with the fucking toy soldiers and the weird alien
The Gorgonites?
toys? Oh, I so vaguely remember. I've not seen that movie in so long. I have very vague memories of that movie, but I remember it being very weird.
You need to watch that movie now as an adult. I cry when I watch that movie. It actually makes me cry.
I don't remember much about it. There's very few little things about it that I'm like, I think I remember, but I'm honestly no 100% on. That's one of the movies that I've never think about ever.
Really?
I've never. That's genuinely when you said that, I was like, oh, aye, that exists. I can't even remember the last time that movie would have came in my mind.
That was probably one of my favorite movies growing up. With Small Soldiers, loved that. That was like for me. That was like the Halo before Halo. You know, you've got like these super soldier, or their action figures, of course, and then you've got like these aliens that they're at war with. You know, it's like a prerequisite for Halo.
You know what? Interesting thing about we were just talking about, like religious stories. I think Halo has very much got a lot of things in it are very based on things from the Bible.
How long do you have? Because honestly, you could do like
a lot,
a full hour.
Aye.
And like
there's so many things that you're just like, oh, that's like that thing, that's like the story for the Bible, and this is like that thing from the Bible, and this cat and this person for the Bible, and aye.
Especially with like the terms that they use, like the Claymore, flood, the ark. You know, it's very Bible centric or religion centric, I'd say. But what are you having for dinner tonight?
I've no fucking idea. Probably some, probably just some kind of, probably just like chicken and chips.
Probably just some chips and ass.
Chips and ass, chicken and chips.
Eating some chicken and ass all night.
Chicken and ass.
I don't know what I'm having. Alan's away back to work today, or he's away to the office, so I've asked him to bring back dinner because he works in Glasgow. So it'll be like nice places to eat.
True.
So you'll probably have that, and then, well, the pups, they'll have their usual kibble and bits.
Nice.
But I'll need to go and feed them now.
We've been on for just about an hour, so it's a good time for us to end.
If people are interested in like us delivering a scholarly essay on the religious symbolism of Halo, do sound off in the comments. Let us know.
It is it is heavy inspirations for the a lot of things in the story for sure.
And honestly, I could talk about it all day because I was a wee Bible basher and went to Bible camp growing up, and Halo's my favourite game. So I'm like hymn verses, and I'm like this and like that. And give you it all. But I think that's us for this week.
Yeah, thank you all for watching.
Yeah, and
or listening or whatever. Yeah,
listening, watching. Well, it's funny you say that. Maybe you'll be watching us soon. Who knows?
True.
But thanks for listening, guys, and see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.